This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Samsung is at it again. This is a super light laptop with an included Wacom powered pen and a 360-degree hinge. Hello, my name is Brad. I review tech for creative professionals, and if you're new here, I look at tech from the point of view of a designer, artist, or illustrator. Now, Samsung's laptops are pretty good. They aren't the cheapest laptops out there, but they're far from the most expensive. This base model Pro 360 I have here was about $1,200. Now, while other manufacturers will charge you an arm and a leg for just small upgrades to RAM or the storage on a device like this, Samsung is pretty competitively priced. For example, $200 is going to get you twice as much RAM and twice as much storage. Same thing if you want to jump up from a 13-inch screen to a 15-inch screen. That's only $100. The longer I review devices, one thing becomes clear to me, and that is Samsung is all over the place when it comes to their laptops. Year over year, they're changing up the names, they're overhauling the design, they're trying new things. This can be a good or bad thing. It's good because they're always trying new stuff, and sometimes they stumble upon some really cool ideas. It's bad because sometimes they land on something really cool one year, they don't realize that it's cool, and they just completely toss it out for the next year. This year's laptops are no different. This is the Galaxy Book Pro 360, and I picked this one up because of the 360-degree hinge that lets you turn it into a drawing tablet. Comes with the Wacom powered pen, and the entire laptop is crazy light. What's the bad? Well, while it looks nice, I loved the direction of the design of last year's Galaxy laptops. They were headed in this colored brush aluminum direction. They had these shiny side accents I really liked. Those were beautiful laptops. I wish that they would just build upon that design language like other manufacturers do. They completely tossed that aside this year. Now, that's not to say that this is a bad looking laptop by any stretch. Comes in two colors, Mystic Navy and Mystic Bronze. I went with the Mystic Bronze because that's the color of my phone, also a Samsung phone. But they're made out of different materials, so they don't match as well as I was hoping they would. One thing that's jumped out at me is that the metal they used on the outside of this device isn't super durable. When I pulled it out of the box, it already had a dent along the side. And then when I went to take the sticker off the fingerprint reader, I accidentally left a scuff mark that I can't seem to clean off. I don't think this shiny surface is gonna age well. But all of this stuff is just curb appeal. Another thing they jettisoned this year was the built-in pen. Well, kind of they did. There's still a pen here, it's just not stored inside the laptop, and they probably did this to save on space, make it smaller, lighter. But this time, this is a decision I personally liked. One of the things I didn't care for with that old pen is it was so small. It was like holding a tiny little pretzel. It was uncomfortable to draw with that pen for extended periods of time. The pen that comes packed in this year is a normal size pen. Far more comfortable to hold. The downside is if you're someone who loses your pen often, this one doesn't store with the laptop. This is an ultra-light laptop, so like I mentioned before, it is crazy light. Usually the trade-off here is in power. So, let's check out the specs. This comes in two sizes, 13 inches and 15 inches. This is the 13-inch version. Upgrading that screen only costs $100 more, and that's a pretty good deal. This is also a touchscreen. It's a Super AMOLED Full HD display. Now that's not super high res like you might see on Samsung's tablets, but the screen overall looks pretty good. It gets pretty bright. I thought the colors were very good. Inside you have an Intel Core 17 Evo processor. What the heck is an Evo processor? It is a brand name that Intel has made up to make things less confusing. What does an Evo processor do? It makes things more confusing. It's just a core processor, but what that Evo designation denotes is that it is spec'd out for ultra-light laptops, like this one. Laptops with the Evo sticker on them are basically optimized for things like touchscreens and battery life. So this isn't a raw performance optimized laptop, it's really optimized for other things. So even though this is an i7, it's not gonna rival the i7 chips that you're gonna find in beefier laptops. They'd have a heck of a lot more airflow and power going into them. There is a fan here for some cooling, and there's some tiny vents along the back to keep down the heat. The fans run a lot, but they're not like super loud, but for me, drawing full time, the fans were on for most of that. In terms of just actual performance, I thought this laptop was more than enough for what I wanted to do with it for just basic illustration tasks. I wouldn't recommend this if you're going to do video production. If you're going to do animation, you probably want to jump up to something a little beefier, something that could do a little bit more with that processor. But for drawing and illustration, it's fine. Samsung gives you 2 RAM and hard drive configurations. The first configuration, you have 8 gigabytes of RAM, and that comes with 256 gigabytes of storage. That second configuration, 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. There's also a nice little micro SD card slot along the side, so if you want to expand that storage yourself, have at it. There are also 3 USB-C ports, one of which is designated for charging, but you could use it for other things when you're not. And last but not least is a headphone jack. Oh, the good old headphone jack. We love you, buddy. You also have some other amenities included here, like a fingerprint reader on the keyboard and a 720p webcam. That's not actually an amenity. All laptops come with that. But it's important to know this has the same 720p webcam that most laptops have. Of course, the feature that drew me to this laptop was the ability to turn it into tablet mode and use it for drawing. Since it is a 360-degree hinge, I can work in other modes too. Even though it stays up at other angles, it wasn't really designed to be drawn on with this angle. The hinge isn't strong enough to hold the weight of your hand while you're drawing. Before I jump into the next part, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Squarespace.
From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Connect with your audience and generate revenue through gated members-only content. Manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights, all in one easy-to-use platform. Squarespace has the tools you need to get your business off the ground, including e-commerce templates, inventory management, a simple checkout process, and secure payments. Whatever you sell, Squarespace has the merchandising features that you need to make your products look their best online. Squarespace takes all the guesswork out of search engine optimization for your website, which means you'll get found and searched by more people more often. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/BradColbo to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain.
Samsung has been putting these Wacom-powered pens in their devices for years. The drawing experience is really good. I love using these pens. Wacom's pen tech is among my favorite. The lines are buttery smooth. You don't get weird blobs at the end of your lines if you're drawing fast. It holds pressure well. It just works the way you want a pen to work. So, as far as setting this up at a comfortable drawing angle, the only one that works for me is when it's laying flat. The hinges are really good laptop hinges, but they're meant for opening and closing, not holding up the weight of your hand while you're drawing. Now, the downside of folding the entire thing over is you lose all of your keyboard shortcuts. Your keyboard just stops working once you fold it over. So if you're using Photoshop or Clip Studio Paint, you're going to miss those keyboard shortcuts quite a bit. So you might also want to have something like a shortcut remote or an external keyboard that you can use so you can still use those programs efficiently. This isn't just a downside for this device, this is a downside for any of the 2-in-1 Windows devices that I review here. The battery life is good. I'm getting like 6 hours of drawing on this thing. I know the website says 21 hours, but the listed battery life on laptops is just... it's weird. 6 hours if you're using a drawing program and have it turned up to like a normal screen brightness. Couple of days.